Hi there, Rick here. Just making another video on trading. Um, so I was trading today, and I was looking at the symbol EOSE. What they are is a lithium storage ion battery company, and today, okay, it hit a high of 503, okay, $5.03. And then from watching the Japanese candlesticks, okay, the color changed from green to red. Usually, when it changes from green to red, it means that there's selling pressure. So near the end of the day, okay, it had dropped. Well, it was dropping gradually throughout the entire day, but near the end of the day, okay, about half an hour before market close, okay, this is 3:30 Eastern time. It had dropped almost $1. So if you bought 1,000 shares of it, okay, and you were shorting the stock, you would have made $1,000, 1,000 US dollars. I know that there's some people that they when they buy shares, they play very aggressively. Um, I remember that YouTuber Ricky Gutierrez, okay, bought his course, and he said that he made 280 280,000 US dollars last October. I had doubts, okay, and then I bought his course, his LLP course, and I watched his tutorial videos, and I was trading with him sometimes in the early morning because he goes live. Um, and then he usually always trades the Nasdaq, okay. Um, and When he buys shares of the Nasdaq, he doesn't buy like 300 or 1,000. He buys like 30,000. So if the stock, say for instance, the stock moved up um, 50 cents, and then he was betting that the market was going to go up, and he has 30,000 shares. Okay, that's 30,000 times 0.50 each share. Okay, he's made 50 cents off of each share. And when you have 30,000 shares, okay, and at 50 cents, that equals into the thousands of dollars. Okay, so I believe, yeah, he did make that amount of money. Okay, last October. And what he's doing, the method that he's using is called scalping. Okay, that's the method that I used 9 years ago too. I was scalping. Um, the stock I was trading a lot was Aurora Cannabis, symbol ACB. Okay, because there was so much volume moving through it. Okay, I was just watching how um, how the stock moved throughout the entire day. And I thought to myself, I made a note on my notepad, this stock may be a good stock to day trade. And well, eventually, I think I was trading around 325, okay, $3.25. Over the past year, I think it went as high as like $16 before it started to come down. But the first 3 months, I had made like 3,000 US dollars. I thought that was pretty good, myself being a new trader, just learning. I made like 3,000 in the markets already. But he uses a method called scalping, and that's a method that I think a lot of traders use, and I still use it myself to this day. So back to the story of EOSE, okay? Um, so yeah, if you had bought 1,000 shares, okay, it moved $1 lower, and you're betting that the stock was going to go down, you would have made $1,000 today. Um, I also bought some options in the stock Sophie, stock symbol SOFI. What they do is they're before, when they started off a while back, they were just dealing with student loans, okay. But now they do so much. If you look at their homepage, they'll handle everything from mortgage payments to houses, to house insurance, to car payment loans, but just about everything that a bank does, they do. Okay, and you can even talk to a real person, a financial advisor, for free. Okay, I think if you become a member of their homepage, um, which is quite amazing too, because just to talk to a professional financial advisor, I think you have to pay at least a few $100s for that sort of service, and they're offering that service for free. So I think that their company is going to be very big one day. I was doing some research on the internet on it. Some people thought it was going to go 10 times, 20 times, even some people thought it was going to go 35 times. Because you have to remember that it seems like a lot of times, okay, when there's um, some of these new technology type of businesses, um, it's disruptive technology, and some of them have been very big um, uh, over the years, just because P- phone apps, okay, are so powerful these days, and a lot of work goes into making them. And well, you can do so much with your phone these days. Like, who would have thought that? Okay, 35 years ago, you could pay for things by just um, using your phone. Okay, they scan your barcode, and then it's paid for. Um, I know that in China, a lot of people, that's what they uh, that's what they use. They don't carry cash anymore. They just carry their phone. Um, I think it's more secure these days. It's more convenient. You don't have to worry about getting robbed. Okay, they might steal your phone, but still they have to get your phone unlocked. And some of these places, uh, if that you go to, you want to unlock your phone. They ask you for some sort of ID too, right? So yeah, the thieves, well, they don't want to go through all that trouble of providing their ID to somebody, right? Um, or they just want fast cash. So it's more convenient. It's safer, right? Um, you don't have to make trips to the bank to get out money when you want to buy something. Um, the transactions recorded, okay? A lot of things that you could do on your phone these days, everything from paying for your everyday things to watching movies on your phone, making calls, making your appointments on the phone, um, sending text messages, even to send a text message to your friend on the other side of the world. A lot of times when you get these phone plans these days, they offer you unlimited text messages um, all over around the world. So it's so convenient these days. Um, I've seen some people where, yeah, I think they're addicted to their phone because you hear of some teenagers uh, on their phone like 1, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, right? Another stock that I've been looking at was LILM. What they are is it's kind of like a EV. They want to make the first electric jet, okay? And they have the sole license, I think, right now for like Europe and United States. So I was thinking to myself, wow, that would be pretty big. And they're planning on what is it? Bringing out their first jet plane by 2024. It's supposed to be able to have a vertical liftoff. Okay, I think that's really quite amazing because and very good too, because remember, you don't need a big runway. You could take off from the top of, I don't know, um, your big office building in a major city in the United States, and once when you get in the air, okay, just kick in the boosters and take off to maybe another major city to where you want to go. Um, so I thought that, you know, might be really big one day. Okay. Um, there was another stock that I was looking at was TDoc. What it is, it's a virtual reality app, and people, okay, from right around the entire world, okay, they could talk to uh, a doctor in virtual reality, okay. So you can make your appointment online, and you're talking to a real doctor. You have an appointment. You don't have to go to the office. Um, some of these people too, they already have a blood pressure machine at home. They could take their own blood pressure, and the doctor can watch them use it, and you know, tell them whether or not, you know, their blood pressure is too high, too low, or if they make a mistake on, you know, how they're using the machine, the doctor can correct them. But that stock used to be worth as much as $300 one day. And how I got the that stock symbol and some history behind it, I was watching a YouTube video on Cathie Wood. Cathie Wood is kind of like a famous investor, but she was talking about how AI, it could be very big, and she was listing, I think, 5 companies, five top AI stocks, and that was one of them. So I put that in my watch list. Um, I don't think I'll buy individual shares, just because it was trading around $23 a share. If anything, I would buy an option in it. Okay, so say for each option is worth 100 shares. One option, it represents 100 shares. So say for instance, okay, I bought one option, okay, and it was 1 month out, okay, 1 month from expiration date. I could also make it 2 months, okay. This is just an example, okay, but say for instance I bought a expiry date for 1 month away. Within 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks, the stock went from 23 to 46. Okay, I could tell my my platform that I use, Questrade. I'll tell them that, you know, um, I like to exercise that option. Okay, what that means is that I don't want to sell it. Okay, I want to keep those 100 shares. So I invested, okay, so much money into it, see how it doubled, okay. Now I don't have to pay anything for the option because it rose double in price, okay. The profits that I made from the option, okay, I used that to buy the 100 shares. So it's like I got 100 shares for free. Um, I'm not sure if you understand that, but I explained it in the most easiest way to understand. You know, the price, I bought it at about $23. It doubled in price, went to 46. I wanted to exercise the option. Okay, I didn't want to sell it because I want to own part of that company. Okay, because I feel that it's a good company to own. And then, you know, I feel that the shares are going to go higher. It's going to go back up to $300 one day and maybe even higher, right? Um, because uh, there's um, there's a lot of other companies that are doing business this way too. They're doing business in virtual reality. I know that the courts were doing it because I got a ticket one time, and when I got to the courthouse, okay, um, there was no judge there, okay. We're all of us, you know, had to line up, okay, and then we're speaking to a person. We saw the, you know, the smaller television screen. It wasn't even that big, and you know, we were talking to the judge in virtual reality, and you know, they're using a telecommunication type of technology, okay, um, to do the court cases, and I think that's where sometimes the future is headed. Um, People are doing their business a lot more these days in virtual reality, because if you think about it, it's more convenient. It's more convenient for the customer. Okay, if you're the patient, okay, you don't have to leave home. You don't have to sit in the wait room. Okay, you know what time you have to see your doctor, what time you have to get on the computer or get on your phone or your tablet or your iPad. Okay, and and then the the doctor too can see more patients. Okay, um, and I think that's where the future is headed. People are doing their business a lot more in virtual reality. Um, Maybe there's some things that, well, you cannot do in virtual reality. Okay, um, but there's been a lot of other business people, professionals. They realize that they can do business in virtual reality, and I feel that's where the future is headed. Okay, um, and you have to remember too. Okay, after the doctor's finished work, well, he or she is already home. Okay, you don't have to get in your car, fight with rush hour traffic. Um, Maybe stop by the grocery store, get some groceries. Okay, as soon as you're finished work, um, you're already home. Okay, um, they can go do the things that they want to do at home already. Okay, um, they need to go shopping. Okay, a lot of times the shopping center is usually quite close to their home. Okay, maybe about 10-15 minute drive away. Okay, um, they're less stressed out. Okay, because they don't have to maybe sit in their car for 45 minutes to an hour to get to work, another hour to get home, right? um, I think that's really amazing that uh, that people can do business that way, um, especially when the time of COVID, right? Um, there was a lot more people had to rely on working from home, and they people have figured out ways, and these computer programmers or these business people that make these sort of apps, um, they they're looking for new businesses to make, to make money. Okay, and they contact the doctors associations and say, look, you can treat your patients online. You don't have to leave home, and of course they get a commission from this too, right? um, but I'm always amazed that when I find out that you know people that are using their computers to make money, um, just because a lot of times these people who do these sorts of businesses using their computers, they're interesting people to talk to, right? Because at the gym I used to play basketball with a computer programmer, and well, I'll get into to know him a little bit more, over time. I knew him for at least a few years. Okay, um, I I found out that, okay, he was making an app um, for the hospitals, and then he would go in and he would train the employees of the hospital to use the app, and then if there were any problems with the app, because he was a computer programmer, it was his job to fix it. But he was still, I believe, he was still working for somebody. Okay, he was just a worker, but he was a computer programmer. And I think sometimes, he wished that he was a smarter computer programmer. Um, I, I myself, okay, I was a computer programmer too. Um, During my time when I was a teenager, it was black and white screens, but there were people writing these programs, okay, in magazines, and then I would buy them, and then I would program the game into the computer. It was just a lot of ones and zeros, but what it was, they were using binary codes. I didn't understand binary codes at that time. Well, maybe I did, but I just forgot. But 87, okay, 87 represented the letter W, okay? So when you're typing in 10986436102 it was binary codes, okay? And so after you finished about, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 pages of typing all these ones and zeros and other numbers, then the game would pop up on the screen, okay? And there were different commands that you could use so that you could see some of the computer language. And I remember seeing go-to lines, okay? If such and such did not equal y, okay, go to line 113. So I was making up my own games because I could understand DOS, okay? But right now there's so many different types of computer languages. It's almost hard to keep track of how many different types of computer languages are out there. And you know, I heard that a decent web developer would make $100,000 a year, and I thought, wow, you know, that's pretty amazing. You're a web developer and you're making like $100,000 a year. That's a lot of money. That's a lot more than most what other people make. Like I was working as a window glazer, okay. It was hard for me to get a raise, okay, from my boss. And here, okay, I think if you're a decent web developer, you know, the starting wage was 100 grand, okay, and you know, it seemed like too, you know, if you're good at that sort of work, you could find a job quite easy, and you know, a lot of the your bosses, you know, they treat the computer programmers pretty good, okay, because you know, being as a window glazer, I wouldn't say that you know, I've met, you know, that many good bosses in my time, and they didn't seem to even though you're helping them make a lot of money, they weren't that appreciative of the work, okay, and they you know, they didn't want to give their workers any raises at all, okay. But if you were doing your own jobs, you know, you would make good money, okay. So I used to program in DOS, and well, I found it kind of exciting a bit, right? Making my own games. After I finished making a game, I would call my brother, you know, tell him to try out the game, right? And some of these games, okay, they were so simple that, well, now these days, the kids these days would even consider playing them because they're pixels on a yellow pixels on a black screen, right? But during my time, those games were like $60, $70, $40, but they were still quite expensive. But they were so simple that I guess people got bored of them after a few days or even a week, right? Because they mastered the game, right? But now, you know, I look at some of the games, wow, you know, like, I mean, they're huge. It would take you maybe an entire month or maybe a few months just to finish one of the games because they're so big.